Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just doing a winter makeup routine switch up video, just sharing with you the things that I've been using pretty frequently, a few staple products that are really just working well for me and combating the visible dryness and dullness in my skin and just making me look a little bit more fresh for winter time. I feel like this is something that I typically do during the seasons when they change. Is I'll still be doing my makeup the same way that I am, for whatever season it has been. And lately I've been noticing that midway through the day I start looking really dull, and I hadn't been switching up certain products or just the way I apply makeup, and I had been kind of skipping out on illuminator especially, and then I'm like, no, it makes such a big difference, especially during the winter time. I feel like I crave that little bit of glow and glisten because it just fights off the dullness of winter. So this is gonna be a full-blown, but still quick and easy tutorial. Number one most important thing for me during the winter time is actually doing eye cream. I don't think it necessarily makes the biggest difference in terms of, anti-aging and fine lines and wrinkles and all of that. I'm not here to say that. I'm just here to say it really makes such a significant difference under my eyes because I get really dry under the eyes, and so makeup will settle and it looks very crepey and crusty and just visibly dry. So this is from Kiehl's. It's the Creamy Avocado Eye Treatment. I love how this is really thick. It kind of leaves you with a little bit more of a oily, moisturized under eye, and it just makes the makeup that I put under my eyes look so much better and last longer throughout the day without, flaking off from the dryness under my eyes. So I do a good layer of that and really let it sink in for a couple moments. I'm going to take the Glass Skin Spray from Maybelline and just lightly spritz this all over my face just for an added layer of moisture on my skin. And you can see it looks a little bit wet and crazy, but once this sets down, it just acts almost like a primer and really makes the makeup blend over my skin a lot easier. And honestly, you can even take your fingertips and help work the spritz into the skin. I have a decent amount of hormonal acne right now just from my period, and so on days like this I do like a little bit more of a fuller coverage, not necessarily like full glam all over, but a foundation that's buildable enough to where I can really layer it on the areas where I need to cover some spots. So today I'm going to use the L'Oreal Paris Infallible. This is the 24-hour fresh wear, and I'm using the shade number 475. The lighting in this video is going to be so on and off because there's like clouds and then not clouds, so we're just gonna be jumping back and forth between direct sunlight and indirect sunlight behind the clouds. But so I just dot the foundation, really concentrate it on the areas where I want the most coverage at first, and you can see just a little bit will give you some really great coverage and get rid of all those, pesky bits. Where's my mirror? And this foundation even gives pretty great coverage under the eyes. It does help with hiding those darker circles. And I'm just using a beauty blender. I've really been liking sponge for foundation application. And then anywhere I have a little bit of extra spottage that is just slightly peeking through, I will put a little bit more foundation. You can see this one sets down pretty satin matte, so it doesn't emphasize those little bits, but I just want to conceal some of the color that they have. The other thing I really find when I'm using these like satin matte foundations, having something like this underneath just helps the foundation look a little bit more natural and not as dry. For concealer, I'm gonna do one of my personal favorites under the eyes right now. It's from Neutrogena. It's the Radiant Cream Concealer. What I really like doing is taking it like this off of the doe foot applicator and just putting it on the back of my hand, and then just pick it up on my fingertips and press it under the eyes. It's a really creamy, I don't want to say thick because it's not a thick product, but it's just really creamy, and this concealer applies so much better if you press it into your skin with the heat of your fingertips, so you can really like melt it down and get that concealer nice and gooey almost, and then take your sponge and blend it in. And this is so nice for underneath the eyes during the winter time because you can see it still has a little bit of radiance to the finish, so it doesn't look dry under there even during the colder months. So really just pushing and pressing it in with the heat of my hands, and then I'll take my sponge and I'll blend that right in. And you can see it really just instantly brightens up the under eyes. I also like to take just a tiny bit on my finger and give myself a little bit of a liquid highlight down the bridge of my nose. It just gives it that extra bit of lift when I go in and do a little bit of contour. I've really been enjoying liquid highlights. They're just a little bit more natural. They also just look a little bit softer throughout the day. So this one's from Ilia. It's in the shade Nova. Honestly, it's easier if you just take it right out of the thing and put it on your face, but I thought, oh, for tutorial's sake, let's apply it a little bit more elegant and use the back of the hand. But when I'm doing it, I just take it right off of that little applicator and then take my sponge and press it in. And liquid highlights are so nice because they almost genuinely like fuse with the foundation and concealer versus just sitting on top like powder highlights sometimes do. This one just honestly becomes one beautiful finished liquid base. This also helps so much with combating the dullness in winter face. That's the biggest issue I have, is my skin and my makeup. It just looks so dull this time of year. So I like putting that liquid highlight just lightly everywhere just so I have a little bit of that summertime glow. And I feel like it just keeps everything looking really nice and like awake and fresh and youthful. I have been loving this from Iconic London. It's the Radiance Booster in bronze. This was actually recommended to me from the girl working at Sephora when I was shopping. The Charlotte Tilbury contour one was sold out, and she said this is definitely the most comparable product that they have at Sephora. So what I do, again, we're going to spread it out on the back of the hand so that I have a little bit more control over exactly where I place the product, and just lightly bronze the skin. Again, because this is liquid, it really just fuses with the rest of the liquid products that you're wearing, and everything just looks really nice and blended. And I love how this looks more like tanned skin than like a bronzer product. And I like to take it up here, like right on the apples of the cheeks, really warm up the cheek area, a little bit on my chin, and whatever is left over, I always like to take in the crease of my eye as well, just to add a little bit of that sun-kissed color right on the eyelid. And then what I really like doing is using this powder from Milani. It's actually supposed to be like a powder foundation, but I use it more so to set the cream bronzer just so it doesn't migrate throughout the day. And it also has a really beautiful tone that I think matches the bronzer enough to where it doesn't, you know, offset the tone or anything. And you totally don't have to do this part, but I do find that because the Milani powder is a face powder and not, you know, like bronzer or anything, it just looks a little bit more natural than some of my other bronzers do. And so I just like using it to get everything nice and, you know, fully situated for the day. Set the eyelids as well. Here comes the sun. For blush, I'm gonna do the one I'm so obsessed with, the Patrick Ta She's a Doll, that bright pink one. I'm actually gonna mix a little bit of the cream with the powder. The sun was like way too intense, so we just shifted a bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna pop this right on the apples of the cheeks. Get that really nice, soft baby pink. And I know it's not like a fall winter shade, but I think that that's why I like it so much, because it just completely wakes up my complexion. And again, it's so bright pink that it just fights the dullness of winter face. I've just kind of been reapplying and applying Huda Silk Balm. It's a really nice lip balm, but I can wear it as a gloss too with a little bit of lip liner, but it actually absorbs into your lips, so while you're doing your makeup, it sinks in and it doesn't just sit on top, and it helps get rid of all of these like broken, you know, bloody skin parts on my lips, which are disgusting now that I say that out loud, but I've got a lot of broken skin around my lips. Okay, I'm going to use the Refi Brow Gel, or Brow Sculpt, I'm sorry. And I'm just going to brush that through my brows. Open it up, take that little comb on the other side, and really just push that through the brows. Comb it through. You can use your finger too. That kind of helps get rid of the white tint that the brow gel can sometimes have on darker brows. And then to just fill in my brows wherever I want a little bit more definition, I'm using the Maybelline Brow Slim. This one is so nice. A super fine brow pencil, and you can get those really nice natural looking hair-like strokes. I'm just gonna take a cream shadow. This one's from Nude Sticks. It's in Immortal. And I'll just run it really close to my lash line, blend it out with my finger. I feel like with eyeshadow for day to day, I just want something easy that I can just do this with, like apply it with my fingers and then be on my way. And then the shade's like a little bit darker too, so it still will give you, you know, some like definition. Like a child when it comes to eyeshadow. I really am not the best at it, but if I can find something like this where I can just da-da-da-da-da and it looks, you know, smoky, I'll roll with it. Just a little bit more defined on this eye, but I like that little bit of haziness that I get. I'm gonna give my lashes a really nice curl because I want to show you this mascara in all its glory. I want to show you why this mascara is reigning supreme as one of my favorites for literally 6+ years. Stopped using it for a while and then I use it for the first time in a long time. I am like, why? Why do you even stop? So it's Maybelline Lash Stiletto, okay? In the waterproof version. Just prepare to be as in love with it as I am, especially when you see like how much, not only just like volume and length, but just how good it makes your lashes look. So I like to nestle it right on the base of the lashes, give it a good wiggle so you really almost like beef up these lashes and intensify that line. And then just comb it through your lashes. She is not clumpy, she does not flake, smudge. It just is a good old faithful mascara that always looks good. The brush is such a nice, you know, long thin shape, so it's easy to maneuver and apply mascara with. Phenomenal on the bottom and the top lashes. It just like even fans the lashes out and just, it's a miracle worker, this mascara. It really is. I'm gonna quickly set everything down in place so that it's locked and loaded. This setting spray, I know I've raved about it a handful of times, but this truly makes your makeup last significantly longer. And it sets down to a matte finish, but it's not gonna make you look dry. I'm really impressed with this, especially when I compare it to the Charlotte Tilbury one I love so much. I feel like this one still packs the same amount of punch in terms of longevity. Like it really just makes my makeup last so much longer. And I'm also going to use a little bit of lip pencil. I'm gonna use a eye pencil as my lip pencil. This is the NYX eye pencil in the shade light brown. I will say I accidentally purchased this thinking this was a lip pencil because it looks exactly the same. And I've been using it as a lip liner and I actually really like it. It's a little bit deeper than my favorite Nude Truffle, but it makes such a pretty, you know, like contouring and overlining shade. I want my lips to look as big as possible. Obviously within reason, but I love a good overline. It gives you that little bit of like shadow contour that you need to, you know, make your lips look a little bit more full. And for lip color, baby, you need this. I love it. It's my favorite lip color probably of all time now. Probably, I would say. I'm just absolutely addicted to it. It's very Victoria from Charlotte Tilbury. It just goes with everything and it looks good day or night. And because it's one of the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution lipsticks, it lasts really well. And it just looks so good with gloss or on its own. So you get that really nice like matte lip. It's really like the perfect Your Lips But Better shade. If I want a little bit of a glossy finish on it, I've been loving this one from Pat McGrath in Blow Up. It's more like a balm, so it doesn't completely interfere with the longevity versus like if I put a, you know, gloss on top, which I love to do sometimes too. A gloss will make it wear down a little bit quicker, so like a tinted balm like this will just give the lipstick a little bit more movement. Any day where I'm feeling a little bit more extra and I just want a little bit more glow, I've been loving this one from Charlotte Tilbury, the Nudegasm palette. I mixed the two together. And I actually really like using them wet as well. They get like super intense. And I'll just carefully avoid, I'm gonna carefully avoid that pimple right there. And just pop a little bit of extra highlight on the high points. And that's pretty much how I've been doing my everyday winter makeup look. Obviously, I'll switch out the products depending on the day, but primarily this time of year is when I'm really leaning into creams because I feel like they're just a little bit more flattering on my skin right now. I know I have a lot of visible dryness, and so I like to combat that as much as possible, and I hope you can see on camera. Maybe not as well in person, but this is almost half, or a little bit over halfway gone. I absolutely love using this as one of the first steps in my makeup routine. It just really gets absorbed into the skin, and like I said, I can use my fingertips to really, you know, help push it in, and it just makes my makeup go on so much smoother and just keeps my skin looking moisturized for longer periods of time. So depending on, you know, what products I'm using, this can really help combat some of the visible dryness on my skin, especially when I'm wearing makeup. Sometimes I feel like makeup emphasizes dryness versus just doing like skincare and things like that, so I do have to take a little bit of extra steps to just, you know, make the dryness not so apparent. I hope you found this helpful. If you do have any questions about any of the products that I used, you can leave them in the comments down below. I will list and link everything in the description box for you as well, and if there are any other makeup tutorials that you're interested in seeing in the near future, you can leave them in the comments down below as well, because I'd love to know some stuff you want to see. And I think that's everything I wanted to say. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. I love you all so much. Bye.